It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline: leadership failure responsible for Nigeria's insecurity. Atiku. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has identified leadership failure responsible for the current insecurity being witnessed across the Nigerian states. Atiku, who stated this in Owo, headquarters of our local government area of Ondo State, during the convocation ceremony of Achievers University Owo, said Boko Haram was decisively dealt with when the People's Democratic Party (PDP) was in power. He said, "It is an issue of leadership. Boko Haram first reared its head, and when we were in office and we decisively dealt with it. After we left, it resurfaced. We never joke with internal security, we dealt with it and nipped it into the bud." According to Atiku Abubakar, indications have shown that the present government in the country is not serious about the fight against insurgency and other security challenges that are facing the country. He noted that despite repeated claims by the government that Boko Haram terrorists have been technically defeated or decimated, the recent revelation has proved otherwise. Speaking during the convocation ceremony, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Council of the institution, Honorable Bode Ayorinde, said that the focus of the institution in coming years is on delivering projects like College of Medicine, Education and Aviation. He stated that the student population in the institution has increased to 3,000 because of the trust that parents have in the school management. The Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Samuel Aje, said a total number of 27 students out of 434 got first-class degrees. Professor Ake stated that the school's governing council has also approved 50% discount tuition fees for its engineering courses. Ajay said that 280 students are currently enjoying the tuition-free programs, which are available in 10 programs including human physiology and human anatomy. Other personalities that bagged honorary degrees were Chief Adeniji Olateju Badijoko and Emeritus Oyo State Judge Justice Abdurrahim Sule, who were there to grace the event, where Atiku Abubakar actually identified himself with, and also, was able to address the security situation of the country, saying that what the federal government of Nigeria needs to do is to check the kind of leadership that was actually in place, because it was not like that during the regime of the PDP. Lives are lost, people are being unjustly killed like animals, and we demand the return of peace in our society. We are saying enough is enough, no more bloodshed. Out of school children figure is witnessing a massive rise of orphans everywhere. We can't travel in peace. The economy is crumbling. People are burnt while traveling. The protesters marched from Audu Bako Secretariat to the Kano government house, where security operatives received the group of protesters, listened to them and promised to take the matter further to the appropriate quarters. Meanwhile, following the recent spike in terror attacks in Sokoto and Katsina states, President Muhammadu Buhari has dispatched a high-level delegation made up of heads of national intelligence and security services to the two states. According to a statement by the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, on Friday, Buhari expects the delegation to present an immediate situation report and recommendations on actions to follow to effectively deal with the worrying situation. And also, the defunct Social Democratic Party, SDP, Professor Yowuse Aga, has urged separatist agitators to go about the agitations in a civilized manner to avoid bloodshed. In an interview with Vincent Kalu, the Professor Agia, a former senator who has served twice as minister and twice as ambassador, said that the 3 zones that have produced presidents should wait for the other 3 zones to have president. After that, he noted that the president should be chosen purely through popular contest, devoid of zoning. Many Nigerians have tried to go back in history to situate Nigerians' problems in the amalgamation of 1914. They say that Nigerians' amalgamation into one country should never be taking place because of our differences. These groups insist that the amalgamation's expiration date is over and is now the time for the dissolution of the federation. But I say these people are wrong. There is no manual for the formation of nations. Wars, accidents, imperialism, necessity, agreement, arbitrations, and consensus have all given birth to countries. Our nation was born from imperialism and they became a British colony after the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. But we shook off the shackles of colonialism and emerged as an independent nation. The whole world still understanding that Nigeria would be a great nation and would wipe away the tears of all black people of the world by building a great democracy and a republic where justice and honor, peace and progress will be showcased. The reasons for the failure to attain greatness are that we have poor leaders and poor followers who have not been able to make nation building their number one priority. Our leaders have continued to wallow in ethnic racism and corruption. Ironically, it was based on Pan-African unity and nationalism, and our founding fathers got independence. But soon after independence, we have systematically destroyed every fabric of nation building through corruption and ethnic racism. The last 6 years have been the very worst in throwing up Nigeria's fault lines. The parties have failed to give leadership and they lack ideological commitment, purpose, or clarity. The weak institutions of states have been unable to defend democracy, and the Nigerian people have yet not resolved on national greatness. When we decide, nobody can stop us, the professor says. The professor also noted that the Nigerian elite must come together and overcome their apathy and decide to make Nigeria great through comprehensive restructuring of the federation, saying that we need more efficient and leaner federal civil and public service, and that we need the states to be stronger and the federal government to divest itself of its overwhelming control at the center, saying that we must resolve to tackle tribalism with greater intensity that we have fought corruption, saying that the last thing we need to do in addressing our nation's calamity is to recruit into politics and public sphere people with sound character who see wrong as wrong and who are courageous to stand up to forces that seek to destroy Nigeria. Asking about insecurity, saying that we started with Boko Haram and now ISWAP, saying that the United Arab Emirates recently named some Nigerians sponsoring the insurgent group, saying that Nigerians were excited, thinking that those who have contributed to the plunging this country into the crisis that has got millions of dollars and the carnage that followed will be prosecuted. However, the presidency said charging them is not a priority, and the professor was asked about his view on this particular statement, responding that the view is that the government has been living in denial and that Nigeria is first starting from a civil war that religious extremists and ethnic bigotry are foisted over us. The government has invented semantics of deception, which is helping terrorists by packaging them as bandits and even worse, non-state actors. I was walking on eggshells to call the foreign Fulani terrorists arsonists, rapists and land grabbers through genocide as non-state actors. Kidnapping has been packaged as a foreign flourishing business as well. Perhaps this government is slowly manufacturing our consent and clandestining origin of our surrender to a Taliban-type insurrection, and the facts are too glaring to say otherwise, saying that the government knows the sponsor of these asymmetric wars and they know how to block their funding and know far more than they wish the public to know. Thanks for listening.